There are a lot of issues with War Thunder across many different aspects. Many of these are more obvious, like the economy, which was a big issue for a long time. Many other issues have to do with gameplay and the over-monetization of the game. However, there is one big issue I see with the game that, in my opinion, is the biggest of them all, and this problem is the War Thunder community as a whole. While there are definitely times the community can get together as a whole about issues, this is a very rare occurrence. The biggest example of this that I can think of is the review bombing on Steam last year after Gaijin made some absolutely awful changes to the economy. The community definitely can be great when it does get together and get stuff done, but like I already said, this is a very rare occurrence. While the review bombing did result in the economy changes getting reversed, as well as a roadmap getting put together, the community did go back to being divided pretty quickly. By the way, if you guys do enjoy this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. I'm getting a lot closer to my goal of 1,000 subscribers, so every one of you who do subscribe are a huge help. Also, I'd like to thank my first and only YouTube member, Caden Cantrell. Whatever your thoughts on the player union were, they did manage to stay intact long enough to get some suggestions together and get them to Gaijin. I believe at peak they had somewhere in the realm of 40,000 players on the player union Discord, which is quite impressive. Really, the only purpose of the Discord server was to be a place where ideas could be shared and discussed, and ultimately sent to Gaijin in one well thought out document. After this, the Discord and supposed union seemed to fall apart as it devolved into chaos and insanity. However, along the way to the suggestions even being submitted, various people in the Discord kept fighting over power since they couldn't even think about anything but themselves for 5 whole minutes. This, plus the constant arguing of people and the awful moderation, led to the before mentioned downfall of the player union overall. These days, if you check r/War Thunder Player Union, the majority of what you will see will be complaints about the game. While some are valid, others are just not whatsoever. Many of these complaints are closer to schizo ramblings than genuine complaints. In my opinion, if you make a complaint about something, you should be offering a solution, not just strictly complaining. The regular War Thunder subreddit is bad enough, but the player union one is just next level stupid. Some of the posts are fine, but way too many are a cope fest by people who literally have no idea what they're talking about. There are also a large number of posts on the union subreddit complaining that their posts on r/War Thunder were taken down due to the mods being paid Gaijin shills, when in reality these people are literally delusional. The majority of the time these people get their posts removed are because they literally broke the rules. And sometimes I've even seen them get their posts removed from the player union subreddit because they break the rules there too. Outside of the player union, the normal subreddit is still quite unbearable at times, as some people somehow post the absolute worst takes you could ever imagine. Outside of the general bad opinions, there's a lot of arguing in the comments about many things, and the majority of time people have no idea what they're even talking about. But even when they do, no one wants to listen to each other, and they just tell each other they have a skill issue, or they use other insults. A common theme is complaints about Russian bias, which, while it can be a funny meme at times, there are way too many people who truly believe that Gaijin is a Russian propaganda machine. The amount of copium ingested by Redditors is truly incredible, especially when they can't even agree on which nation is the most recent one to get shafted by the devs. Then there are also those who are interested in getting clout, more specifically a select few who like to post what seems like rage bait. Whether or not it actually is, we'll never know. There are both people on Reddit, the forums, and YouTube alike who all do this by various means. Side note, for those on YouTube, I am primarily talking about smaller accounts who try to build a following by attacking others for no specific reason other than to just do it. This just continues to show how bad and toxic this community is. Sometimes it works and sometimes it does not. However, regardless, when these people do it enough, they're bound to get their 5 minutes of fame. Another major aspect is the absolute lack of consideration towards other players. The absurd selfish nature is very widespread among the player base, far more than it should be. Many people write off what others would like to see in the game simply because they themselves wouldn't care for it, even when talking about stuff like adding separate modes such as Air or BEC that would literally not affect those who play other game modes aside from maybe positively. These people will do literally anything but think of the fact that not every single person who plays War Thunder will enjoy the exact same gameplay as them. I have seen so many people who will actively campaign against a change or addition to the game just because they don't care for it and won't play it, especially when it quite literally will not affect them in any negative way. This is a much more common view than you may think, by the way. Personally, I have and will always try and come up with and improve ideas to make the game better for as many people as possible. It is disappointing to see not just players but prominent members of the community downplay what others may want to see in game. Many people fail to think about the future of the game when making their own opinions, as well as when being against other ideas or opinions. In my eyes, this is an extremely important factor, especially when Gaijin has been a bit more open in recent years. Two of the biggest things we know are that Fox 3 missiles are coming as soon as next update, and that they plan to eventually add 5th generation fighters to the game. This shows just how advanced War Thunder will really get, and I have run into people that say we shouldn't be considering future editions when thinking of how the game should operate, which I think is absolutely absurd, especially when some of these ideas or opinions are already for the future themselves. Too many people have no ability to think of anything ahead of the current day, which is very unfortunate. Overall, all of these smaller issues join together to create the overarching issue that the community is unable to get anything done, and the fact that it happened one time was a miracle. And that only happened due to a major change that just so happened to affect the entire community negatively. The toxicity and bickering between players will always be an issue, and it definitely won't help with the issues that come from the game itself. If people aren't even willing to hear each other out, it's pretty hard to come up with a common solution. Will Gaijin listen to any of these ideas or solutions? Probably not, but that's beside the point. There is absolutely no possibility of them listening when there's really nothing to listen to. But regardless, the point is that the community should stop being so toxic and stop talking about stuff that they have no idea how it works and get along a bit better. If you guys enjoyed this badly scripted rant, please consider subscribing and smashing that like button. And by the way, I have recently discovered that the like button should light up if I say that, at least on a browser.